You run a business. You're in charge. So that makes you the president, the CEO, part-time CFO, HR, the office therapist. Oh yeah, procurement officer, marketing, operations, and R&D. If you've ever had the job of running a business, then you already know just how many jobs come with it. Keeping up with technology shouldn't have to be one of them. You just need a partner, someone who can make it simple. Introducing Cisco Designed. A better way to buy, install, and manage the technology you need to help your business thrive. You don't have to be the tech guy, because now with Cisco and our partners, you have thousands of them. From hardware to software to expertise. Our award-winning tech support can answer questions ranging from troubleshooting Wi-Fi to the future of 5G. We'll even connect you to webinars, free trials, and demos to make you and your business smarter. You put everything into this business, and we'll protect it with one of the largest security research teams in the world. This is Cisco Designed, cutting-edge technology for companies just like yours. You have enough jobs to do, so let us take this one. Between what your business is and where it's going, there's a bridge. Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Well, good morning and welcome everyone to the ComStore Cisco Small Business Virtual Summit. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rack. I'm the CEO and have the privilege to look after Westcon ComStore across sub-Saharan Africa. Obviously, this is a new format for us. Very often we're used to doing events in person and talking and seeing to you in a real auditorium. But hopefully today you enjoy this virtual experience that we've put together. A little different to a traditional sort of webinar, a little bit more interactive, and we hope that you enjoy participating in it today. A big thanks to all of our guests and supporters and certainly the Cisco team who are going to be joining us today, and we hope that we're able to provide some good content to all of you. I have to actually now put this up because somebody's just who knows me just sent me an IM on my laptop on the screen on the side to tell me that they love the new hair. I'm sure, like all of you, those of you who know me, my hair is usually extremely short, but this is what happens when we're in this new environment that we find ourselves in. And for me now, I'm also the first time, I have to be honest, wearing a jacket in probably a few months, which doesn't fit as well as it used to. Because I've been spending most of my time on the other end of a screen and a camera. And that's how our businesses have changed. And I think in the IT industry, our business has changed extremely rapidly to adapt to this new normal. I'm sure it's been a challenge for all of us. And I do hope that all of you and your families are all safe and well. But you're probably also going through this process of how difficult it is sometimes to work from home. And what does that mean from a technology perspective? Because that's certainly one of the biggest challenges that we all have, making sure we're able to adapt, continue to be productive whilst working remotely. I think, whilst small business, I think as Cisco says, is big business, right? Those of you who are joining this today will not necessarily be small business. Some of you may be large systems integrators and partners. Some of you may have a focus on small business. But the reality is that small business has the potential to allow us to, help and adapt to the new way of working. And because lots of business need small business solutions, even if they are large businesses. And that's what you'll be talking to your customers about. So we really appreciate that you've all been able to join us today. What I'd like to just quickly take you through is how the agenda is going to work, and we may actually have a little change at the start. We were going to have a special guest speaker joining us as our first speaker, but we're having a few technical challenges. He's based in the US at the moment, or in Canada. So a few technical challenges getting on board. We may have to just we'll move and start with Ignacio Castroverde, who is from Cisco. And then when we do that, what you will know is that if you scroll down on your screen below the auditorium, you'll see that there are 2 other sessions you can join. And that same presentation will be given in French and Portuguese if you'd like to join it in those languages. It will be the same the same content, but we thought we'd put that in so that you could do that. And then after that, we'll come back into the auditorium. Hopefully our guest speaker will be available then. And then we'll have a little breakout session, just give you time to catch up, grab a cup of coffee, and then we'll move into a few more speakers with a bit of Q&A after each of those speakers. And from there, we also have 3 breakout rooms. Again, if you're in the lobby and you look at the top section, you can see those links, or if you're in the auditorium, if you look below on the screen, you'll be able to see those as well. And you can choose which breakout session you'd like to join. And you can ask further questions as well in those breakout sessions. And then we'll probably look to be closing off at around 1 o'clock so that we can still give you some time back in your day. On that note, I think I would like to take the opportunity to welcome my co-hosts and facilitators for the day. And maybe as they join in, they can each give you a little bit of their background. But I will start with Vincent Entonu, who is our Director of Comstore in Africa. Good morning, Vincent, and welcome to the show from Nairobi.
Thank you very much, Rak.
Great to have you. Maybe, Vince, do you want to just quickly give everyone a very brief intro as to your role and the amazing stuff you do?
Good. The name is Vincent Entonu. I'm based out of Nairobi, Kenya, responsible for the Sub-Saharan Africa Comstore business, specifically the Africa patch. So it's Africa for us, it's everything outside of South Africa or Southern Africa. So my market is about 45 countries, and I'm responsible for the Comstore P&L for this business. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Vincent. And then I'd like to introduce Louise Tata, who's the Director for Comstore in Southern Africa.
Good morning. It's
Good
lovely.
morning, Louise.
Morning. It's quite chilly in Johannesburg. So we all got in, same as Rack. I've got something, actually, I'm much formal today, and I've got makeup on and jewelry, special for all of you. It is lovely to be here. I head up Comstore for Southern Africa, but Vincent and I work very, very close. He's my work brother. And I think Cisco is in our DNA. You can't get Cisco out of us. We really believe what we sell, and we're delighted that you joined us today.
Fantastic. Thanks, Louise. And then Donovan Koo, who is our Head of Architectures in Southern Africa. Down there. Here we go. Hey, Don.
How's Rack? Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this great summit. We're having to have a very successful summit all of you today, because we've got some fantastic information and some great tips and techniques to hopefully close on a fantastic market called the SP segment. So all the best, guys. I hope you enjoyed today.
Thank you, Don. We appreciate you being here. And then finally, I'd like to introduce James Ndegwa, who is our Business Development Manager for Comstore Africa.
All right, thanks, Rak. James Ndegwa, based out of Nairobi, Kenya. I'm responsible for executing the Cisco strategy across Comstore Africa, which is basically Vincent's patch. So I'm Donovan's counterpart for the Emerging Africa. So excited to be here. Looking forward to a very interactive session with everybody and getting to learn how we can support your business in Africa. Thank you.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it, and looking forward to having you guys join me today as we go through the agenda and the program, and making sure that we can get the right questions. And I know you guys have some things that you will ask and do across the day. So I just want to confirm if we are going to our guest speaker, or whether we are going to just move across to Ignacio. Okay, so I believe he is he's going to be joining us soon. So I'll waffle and fill up space whilst we do this. And as soon as they can just get him into the connection. So folks, don't leave and join any of the breakout rooms of the different languages. We're going to introduce our guest speaker first. Let me give you a little bit of background from him. As I mentioned to you, Mike is in Toronto in Canada, but he was born and raised in South Africa and has spent probably most of his life working across the continent from Cape Town to Cairo. There we go, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. I know it's a really early start, probably around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I think.
Oh, no, that's 100%. It's the way we like it. We start early everywhere in the world. Early bird catches the worm and all of that.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Sure. I know it's really, for me, it's difficult to get up and try and do anything at that time, I'll be honest with you. So, folks, Mike is a renowned high-performance coach. He's worked with over 1 million people in 43 countries. It's a real privilege to have him join us today. He's the president of Environics and Lipkin. And he's going to give you a bit of a talk around some of the things that we can do and succeed in this new future that we're in. So, Mike, I'm going to hand over to you once again. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I just want to make sure that you can see my screen. Can folks see my screen? Sorry, folks. I just want to make sure that everyone can see my screen. Hello? Can you see my screen?
Yes, Mike, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. So you can see the big slide that I'm now going to go to full presentation mode. Okay. So look, my name is Mike Lipkin. As you heard, I was born and raised in South Africa. I now live in Toronto, Canada. I've been here for 20 years, and I am just thrilled and privileged to have the opportunity to share my insights with you today. I know that the majority of people on this call are exactly like me. You are small business people. You are confronting some significant challenges in the days and the weeks and the months ahead. You know, the one thing that COVID has done, it has impacted all of us. So whether you're living here in Toronto, Canada, or whether you're in Lagos, Nigeria, you are confronted with challenges that are unprecedented in our lifetime. So I have titled the talk, Lead the Recovery. We're all in the business of going first. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is, number one, what it means to be what I call a potentiator. We're going to share that. Then I'm going to share with you some key trends. Then I'm going to share with you some key trends that are really going to influence what's going to happen in the next few months. And then I'm going to give you 3 superpowers that you have as an entrepreneur that you can really unleash so that you can succeed and help everyone around you. So this is one of my favorite movies. I don't know how many of you have ever been to a Star Wars movie, but this specific scene was from The Empire Strikes Back. This is a movie made in 1980. And what I love about this movie is this is when Han Solo says to C-3PO, his robot, as they were trying to escape the evil empire, they were about to fly into an asteroid field. And C-3PO says to Han Solo, there's only a 1 in 3,000 chance that we could survive the asteroid field. And Han Solo says to C-3PO, never tell me the odds. So what I want to say to you is this, never tell me the odds, because the odds are stacked against all of us at this time. But if you've got the right attitude, if you've got the right mindset, if you're on this call, if you leverage all the power and the intellect of the supporters on this call, then you will succeed and you will help your community do the same. So let me talk to you about what the purpose of today is, or the purpose of my presentation. I want to turn you into the potentiator. So wherever you are, wherever you're watching this, I just want you to say aloud, potentiator. Are you saying it? Potentiator. There's certain words that just have a certain power to them. So When I say potentiator, I can feel just how strong that role is. And a potentiator is someone that brings people together so they can achieve more. A potentiator is someone who helps people live the dream. And right now, that's more important than ever before, because we know there are many people who are living the nightmare. They're looking to you to help them get out of that. And most importantly, a potentiator is someone that creates breakthroughs for others. So I know that if you're on this call, you're someone who's looking for the breakthrough. You want to deliver the breakthrough. And the extraordinary technology that is being brought to you by Cisco and Comstor allows you to do things you could never have done before. I will tell you that, prior to the pandemic, I never used video conferencing. I was the individual who was always in the room with people. But just like the hotel business, just like the restaurant business, just like the travel business, my business was shut down. And now all my work is happening online. And I have to tell you, while it's challenging, this has been one of the best periods for my business. So if you've got the right attitude, if you've got the right technology, if you hang with the right people, if you've got the right motivation, and if you've got the right instructors and mentors, you will win. And I know you are. That's why you're on the call. So let's talk a little bit about what a breakthrough is. I'm a guy who makes his living through words. Other people might trade commodities. Other people might trade technological equipment. I trade words. That's all I trade in is words. So before I use a word, I want to know what it means. So I'm someone to achieve a remarkable result. So if you are on this call, something is going to happen. Somebody's going to say something that is going to achieve a remarkable result for you. A breakthrough is also a personal victory over doubt that liberates someone from their fear. So all of us brought our own preconditions with us into COVID. And so through this conversation, through your interactions with others, you are going to overcome your doubt and your fear so that you can break through. It's also a decisive discovery that causes extraordinary success. Right now, there are 100 different pharmaceutical companies hunting the vaccine. But I want to say something to all of you on this call. We're all hunting our own vaccine. We're all looking for that discovery that causes extraordinary success. And then, in short, a breakthrough is whatever people need most from you in that moment. So right now, I know that if you are an entrepreneur on this call, what you need from me is that insight. You need that fact. You need that inspiration so that immediately after this call, you can go out there and create breakthroughs with the people around you. So look, if you're an entrepreneur, you're also someone who practices the power of anticipation. Anticipation means you can see what's happening before other people can see what's happening. You take action before other people take action. And so I don't know, just like you, I don't know exactly what's going to happen next. Life has a way of surprising us, and I don't know exactly when it will happen. But what I do know, based on my research company based here in Toronto, is that there are 10 things that we need to get ready for that we know are going to happen, and in fact, that are happening now. So number one, fear, anxiety, and doubt. Sorry, that's my Siri responding to my words. So every now and then, technology wants to join us and play. Right? So what are the 10 things we need to get ready for? Number one, fear, anxiety, and doubt. These are the dominant emotions of the day. The people with whom we hang are afraid and they're nervous about the future. So as an entrepreneur, as a leader, whether you feel the confidence or not, you need to radiate that confidence, just like I'm endeavoring to do now. Number two, contact avoidance. That means we need to maintain our social distancing. However the world opens up, we certainly will not be embracing and hugging and kissing the way we were before, which means that we have to do it with our voice. We have to do it with our expression by not touching others, but still touching them with our words and with our respect and with our affection. Number three is virtual communication. This is what this seminar is all about, being able to communicate virtually, just like I'm doing with you now. And I have to tell you that when you're talking directly into a webcam, there are a lot of challenges. And as we go through this program, I'm going to share with you some techniques that I use to communicate virtually. Number 4, it's global contraction. There's no question the global economy is going to contract before it expands. But I want you to think about something. When the world is contracting and people are playing defense, or when people are, getting into a foxhole, when they're scared of what's coming at them, that's the time to expand. That's the time to adopt what I call a growth mindset, because that's when the opportunities are really out there. If no one else is chasing something and you chase something with intensity, you are the one who's likely to win. Number 5, trust in tribes. Tribes are simply people who've come through for you in the past. Trust in tribes is simply believing in those people who've come through for you in the crunch moments. So one of the reasons why I'm here is that the great miner is on the call, and he saw me present many years ago in Nairobi. I did a program for a large organization, and he liked my message, and now the opportunity arose, and he said, Mike, we'd like you to be part of this fantastic event. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is you've got to be great in every meeting. You've got to demonstrate that you can be the one that can be trusted, because when it's a tight race, you will then be the one that wins the prize. Number 6 is what we call breakneck breakthroughs. Look, the one thing COVID has done is that it has accelerated innovation. It has accelerated the rate at which we create and we imagine new things and new services and new approaches, just like we're doing now. And I will tell you is that if you have this technology, if you can reach out across the continent or across the globe and have this kind of communication with people, it will allow you to accelerate your breakthroughs with your clients, and the revenue will follow. Number 7, the great give back. This is a great trend. This says that to those who much is given, much is expected. If you've done well, if you've created wealth, then it really is it is a key responsibility of yours to give back. So I'm doing well, but I want to make sure that I give back as much as I possibly can, because we all need to serve the communities that have served us. Number 8, healthy gratitude. Look, someone said to me the other day, what have you been doing over the last 4 months? And I said, I've been washing my hands, right? Right, we are focusing on health, but you know what else? I am focusing on being grateful to all those people who've done amazing things for me. So for the first time, I'm looking at the people who collect my garbage. I'm looking at the people who serve me in the stores. I'm looking at the people who clean the streets. And I really appreciate the fact that they're on the front line, putting themselves in harm's way so I can live the life that I'm looking to lead. Number 9, and this is one of my favorite trends of all, is what's known as authentic humanity. Authentic humanity means that now more than ever, people want to see your real humanity. I think in South Africa, it would be called Ubuntu. And one of my favorite African sayings is Umuntu, Umuntu, Ubantu, which means a person is a person because of other people. And if I cannot be there with you directly, then I want to feel your humanity and your authenticity coming through in the call. And just like now, I've had a couple machines beep because I've got technology all over this house. That's going to happen. This is not a perfect environment, and we shouldn't be chasing perfection. We should be chasing proficiency. Look, the final trend that I want to share with you, and this is key, is what I call personal precedent. There's no playbook for what we're going through. We're all making it up as we're going along. We're all innovating our way forward, but most importantly, we are all role models for somebody else. Now, just like I quoted Star Wars to you, I want to quote another great icon to you, and that's Star Trek. And I want to ask you, where are those brave explorers on the Star Trek Enterprise going? Well, let me tell you where they're going. They're boldly going where no one has ever been before, and that's the same with all of us on this call. So let me now just get into 3 superpowers. Now, these are the 3 superpowers that every great entrepreneur has. Now, some entrepreneurs are using their superpowers, and other entrepreneurs are not using their superpowers enough. So let me share with you the 3 superpowers of certainty, charisma, and conditioning. And I'll walk you through each one of these. And as I'm walking you through each one of these superpowers, I want you to ask yourself the degree to which you're applying this. I will also be supplying all my slides to Comstore, and they will then distribute these slides to you. Feel free to use these slides as you wish. Number one, know that you are built for this. Hey, I'm sitting here in Toronto, Canada, and things are tough. I know things are a lot tougher in the continent of Africa. I spent my first 38 years there, so I know. So number one, just know that you're built for this environment. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. But whatever we're going through is what we're meant to be going through, because that's what we're going through it. So don't question whether you should be going through it. Don't ask yourself, why is this happening? It's happening. Now use it. Number two, make your fear your fuel. Listen, I got to tell you, for the last 4 months, I wake up every day and I have a sense of fear. I have a sense of anxiety. I have a sense of nervousness, but I'm turning it into my fuel. It's not stopping me, it's pushing me. Number three, learn, experiment, and grow. So I'm going to ask you, experiment with this technology. Experiment with being able to communicate virtually. And you will find you will learn and you will grow. Number four, have a plan. You know, very often entrepreneurs get so caught up in their everyday activities that they forget that they have to execute a plan. Now, a plan can be very simple with 3 raw ingredients to it. The first is you got to have an aspirational goal. So because I'm talking to fellow entrepreneurs on this call, I will tell you that my goal between now and the end of 2020 is I want to generate $1 million US worth of revenue. If I do that, it's going to be a great year. Why do I want to do that? Because I want to inspire people and I want to get a return on my money. And then finally, the actions that I got to take every single day that are non-negotiable is number one, I've got to grow by learning something new. Number two, I've got to connect with amazing people. Number three, I have to have an adventure. I can't just live through every day. Number four is I've got to get out there and take care of my physical health. And then number five, I've got to give thanks to my higher power, because I know there's a force greater than me that's guiding me along. And if I have that force top of mind, then it'll help me build my certainty. And then finally, become an essential service. Look, I don't know what the situation is in Africa, but here in North America, 80% of the economy was shut down because the economy was branded as a non-essential service. Only 20% of the economy was branded as an essential service and kept open. So what am I saying to you? In your own way, with your stakeholders, become an essential service. Be the one individual, be the one organization with whom your customers cannot live without. If you become indispensable to them, you are the one who's going to get more than your disproportionate share of business. So that's certainty. Let's go to the second superpower. And this is another one of my favorite superpowers, and that is charisma. So wherever you are, just say charisma. Charisma is actually a Greek word. Charisma means gift. So we all have a gift that attracts other people to us, but we don't always use our gift. I'm going to give you 5 ways for you to use your charisma and really maximize the return on this gift. So number one, you've got to act your role. So I'm playing the role here today of a motivational speaker. I'm in front of you. I might be thousands of miles away from you geographically, but you know what I love about this technology? I'm in your home or I'm in your office. That's the power of technology. So I'm playing a role. I feel like I am the host of my own reality show. Hey, this is reality. I'm sitting here talking to you. It's 4:30 a.m. Toronto time. It's 10 or 11 a.m. wherever you are. But I'm playing a role and I'm enjoying it, as I hope you can see. Number 2, light yourself up. When you're on camera, and you literally are on camera, you want to make sure that there are bright lights around you, but you also want to light yourself up from the inside. When people know they have a meeting with you, they've got to look forward to those meetings. You've got to be the highlight of their day. You've got to inspire them into action. Number 3, make a powerful promise. I'm not saying overpromise. I'm saying make a big promise. You know, great brands like Cisco and Comstore and Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all the other great brands, they make a great promise, which is why you want to engage with them. So my promise, even in this session, is I will help you create breakthroughs with others. That's a big promise, and then I have to deliver against that promise. And by the way, when you make a promise like that, you cannot back down from that promise. So every single day, if I feel tired, if I feel like, oh man, I don't want to do this today, I remember my word. I remember the commitment I've made, and then I step up, I get through my own emotions, and I deliver, because if I don't, then I waste all those years I've spent building that specific relationship. Number 4, listen like you mean it. So right now, no one's talking to me, I'm talking to you. But if you were talking to me, I would demonstrate how closely I'm listening to you. And there are 3 things I want you to do when you listen to people. Number 1, lean in. Because when you lean in, people can see that you really want to immerse yourself in their wisdom. Number 2, if somebody says something to you, repeat back to them what they've said so they know they've been understood. And then number 3, replay what they've said in your own words so that you bring your own value and you begin the conversation. And then finally, and there's no substitute for this, you got to practice, practice, practice. Look, I will tell you that here I am talking to you, and I've been doing this now 4 or 5 times a day, every day for the last 4 months. It's only now that you could literally wake me up, as this is what happened today, wake me up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I'll go straight into presentation mode because I've practiced this so often. And I've been so focused on becoming great at this that literally you could wake me up at any time of the night or day, and I would then come in and deliver it like this. That's how you have to practice. Okay. So let's look at the third and the final superpower, and I call this conditioning. Now, this is where the champions win. This is when the champions win the game. Now, I know that if you are watching this, your favorite sport is probably soccer. Maybe 1 or 2 of you like cricket. Maybe 1 or 2 of you like rugby, but it's probably soccer. And I want you to ask yourself, at what part of the game do the champions win? Well, very often the games are tight. They 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, and it's usually at the end of the game that the champions pull ahead. It's usually in the final 5 minutes or the final 10 minutes or even overtime or even in the penalty shootout that the champions win. Why? Because they are trained for it. They've got the guts, they've got the resilience, they've got the stamina to come through in the end. So when it comes to conditioning, I want you to remember 5 things. Number 1, compete like an Olympian. Now, let me give you an amazing statistic. At the 2018 South Korea Olympics, there were 2,500 athletes competing for 221 gold medals. I want you to think about that. 2,500 Olympic athletes competing for 221 gold medals. That means 90% of athletes would go home without winning the gold. Many of them, the majority, will go home without winning anything. So what's the moral of the story? It's not just being conditioned. You have to be able to handle disappointment. And I know that as an entrepreneur in a very challenging environment, you know you're going to get more no's than yeses. You know you're going to get more rejections than acceptances. There's going to be more setbacks than spring forwards. But you've got to just be disappointed, not destroyed by that. So when I don't get the result that I want, I just say to myself, well, that's disappointing. That's inconvenient. And then I say to myself, let's go. Next pitch, next game, because the only game that matters is the next one. Number 2, and this is a very powerful technique. If all you do is take this away, then my job will be done. Focus on what fires you up. So the one thing we've got total control over is what we focus on in any given moment. Now, I will tell you that right now, I am focusing on the privilege and the miracle that I have talking to hundreds of entrepreneurs throughout Africa while I'm here in Toronto. And throughout the next week, as I'm thinking about all of this, I will still be relishing. I'll still be thinking about this moment, and that will inspire me to move forward. Because if you don't focus on what fires you up, you're going to focus on what burns you out. And as an entrepreneur, you've got to take all your energy and direct it where you're going to get the highest return. Number 3, discipline your distraction. You know, there's so much noise around us. It's so easy to take our eye off the ball. It's easy to spend too much time on Facebook or on Instagram or even TikTok or just doing things that don't make a difference. So we have to discipline ourselves to do the things that really count so that we can take time off to do those things that could distract us. So allocate the time. I usually allocate a couple hours at night when I go through all the social media and I go through all the distraction. But during the day, that's when I focus on making every effort count. Number 4, network with champions. You're on this call because everyone who has signed up for this program, everyone who's on this call is committed to being the best they can be. You're going to hear some amazing messages from the people on this call. These are people who understand what it takes to build a business, to inspire people, to empower people. And the more you hang with great people, the more great you become. Look, I'll give you one fundamental truth that directs my life, and that is this: we become the company that we keep. Let me say that again. We become the company that we keep. So if you want to become great, you've got to earn great company. Look, finally, let me just put down here, celebrate the struggle. Wow, it's hard. I cannot remember in the almost 60 years I've been on the planet, I cannot remember a time that it's been this hard. But you know what? I'm celebrating the struggle. I'm celebrating how hard it is. You know why? And this is what a mentor once told me. A struggle is a privilege that has been denied to many. So globally, as of last night, Toronto time, there were 575,000 people who've lost their lives to COVID. But you and I are still here. You and I are still struggling our way forward. It's something to celebrate. And by the way, every time you struggle, you get smarter, stronger, faster, and you pull other people along with you. So let me then just recap. You've got to begin with certainty, and that comes from the inside, not the outside. You've got to develop your charisma. That's the appeal. That's the warmth. That's the power that you project when you're talking to people. And then you've got to develop your conditioning so you become stronger as the game goes longer. So I've just got a couple more slides, and I always like to finish on a slide like this, which is a great moment in my life. You know, I was raised and born in South Africa, and in 2002, I was asked by the Nelson Mandela Foundation to do some work with Nelson Mandela. And my payment was, I got I just got 15 minutes with Nelson Mandela. And I had time to ask him one simple question. And my question was, Mr. Mandela, what was it like suffering for all those years? Because as you know, he was incarcerated for 27 years in Robben Island prison because he believed in the ideals of democracy. And Nelson Mandela said to me, he said, Michael, I didn't suffer. He said, I prepared to live my life every day. So when I was released, I would transform my nation into the kind of nation that I dreamt of it becoming. And I've never forgotten that. I prepared to live my life every day so that when I was released, I would transform my nation into the kind of nation that I dreamt of it becoming. Now, compared to Nelson Mandela, and he's 27 years in prison, how's your life looking? Right? Yes, it's tough, but we have the power, we have the ability to make the most of whatever is around us. And so you might be asking yourself, what does WWMD mean? And that simply means, what would Mandela do? So inside all of us, there's a superhero. And maybe that superhero is Spider-Man, or maybe that superhero is Batman, or maybe it's Wonder Woman, or maybe it's somebody like Nelson Mandela. So when you're at your best, you are being like Nelson Mandela. And I often ask myself, what would he do? How can I channel my inner Mandela? How can I channel my inner superhero to the benefit of the people around me? So let me give you a final call to action. And look, I hope that as you have followed my presentation today, you have also seen my flow. So I start out by telling you what I'm going to do. I start out by sharing with you what the purpose is. I then walk you through the introduction, which are the key trends defining the environment in which we're operating. Then I talk to you about the 3 superpowers. Then I tell you a final story that lifts you up, which is one of my best stories. Then I give you a final call to action. Now, if you were all my customers today, my final call to action would be, hey, this is why you need to hire me. this is what Mike Lipkin can do for you. Here are the next steps that I will take to do business with your company and help you succeed and thrive in the days ahead. But now this call is all about you. So my final call to action is this: do it right by doing it right now. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about it being absolutely correct. Learn as you go. I know that in Africa, just like the rest of the world, but especially in Africa, things are changing all the time. So I'll share with you my final African story. And this is one that was given to me by a great mentor of mine. And he said, when the sun rises over Africa every morning, the antelope knows it must run faster than the lion if it is to live. And when the sun rises over Africa every morning, the lion knows it must run faster than the antelope if it is to eat. So the bottom line, baby, is when the sun rises over Africa, you better start running. So I hope that I have inspired you today. I hope that I've given you some insights that you find both useful and energizing. I want to thank the folks at Comstore. I want to thank the folks at Cisco for giving me this great privilege, this great miracle, this great pleasure of sharing my thoughts with you. And I look forward to interacting with you in the weeks and the months to come. So hopefully that came through very clearly. Can I get some immediate feedback before we wrap up?
Sure, Mike. Yeah, you can hear me. That was fantastic. Thank you very much. It's pretty clear, obviously, that I know it's 4 a.m, but you're not going back to bed. Not with that energy. You are going to go and run. Now, I don't know if that means physically running, but you are obviously carrying on with your day and you're going to hit it hard. So it was brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for giving us, sort of the 10 things that we need to get ready for, making it simple and giving us the superpowers, certainty, charisma, and conditioning. It's really nice to hear that. It was summed up so fantastic. And it was really motivating. And another great person I had the privilege of working with told me, get your plan 70% right, but execute it 100%. Because if you sit all the time planning, you'll miss what you need to do. So, Mike, once again, a huge thank you from Comstore and Cisco for joining us this morning. And we hope to see you again. Take care of yourself.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Certainly was really inspirational. Nice way to get the day going. And it was brilliant to hear Mike and the way he's got that energy. So hope you've all got some energy. What we're going to do now, if you're in the auditorium and you look at the screen below, you will see that there will be an option to move to a French language room, which will be hosted by Seydou Ndiaye, and a Portuguese-speaking room, which will be hosted by Ricardo Simba. It'll be the same presentation. So if you want to click on those links now, if you want to join one of the language options available to you, if not, and you want to hear the presentation in English, just remain in the auditorium. And I'm going to ask Vincent to come back up, and Vincent's going to introduce our keynote speaker from Cisco.
Thank you very much, Rak. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much, Rak. It's actually a great pleasure to introduce this gentleman. We met last year in 2019, June. He was in Africa then for the launch of the SB Summit. He's still back in Africa, albeit virtual. Great pleasure to introduce to you Ignacio Costroverde. Ignacio is Cisco Director, Global Small Business Sales and Route to Market. Ignacio is based in Madrid, Spain. Welcome, Ignacio.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you.
Yeah, so Ignacio, you'll be taking us through the Cisco SBE portfolio, also known as the Cisco Designed Product Portfolio. As everybody is aware, the small business is a big priority at Cisco these days. And we will be we'll all be looking forward to what you will take us through this morning. By the way, Ignacio, rumor has it you are an amateur cook. And it's interesting because it seems as if we're all cooks these days. I've been following Ben Fallon on LinkedIn, who's been, Ben, he's managed to juxtaposition cooking and the Wi-Fi 6, Cisco Meraki Wi-Fi 6 technology. I hope you'll be able to put something for us in the menu today. Over to you, Ignacio.
Thank you very much, Vincent. And yeah, absolutely. I love cooking, actually. And Ben is a really, really good friend of mine. I'm just a bit upset because I wasn't able to get into those series, but he promised me that he would get me for the second edition. So I'm fairly happy now. Anyway, so guys, so thank you very much. I mean, I cannot be more excited, and I'm more humbled to be with all of you guys today. Although, you know, as Vincent mentioned, it's virtually, but I'm tremendously excited anyway. So thank you, Comstor. Thank you, my friends at Cisco Africa for having me here. And as Vincent mentioned, so yeah, my name is Ignacio Castroverde. I'm sitting on the global small business team here at Cisco. I'm responsible for all the sales and routes to market within the segment. And that basically means that, you know, I'm actually in charge to making sure that you know, we help you guys, we help our partners as well as our distributors to sell more of our small business stuff. All right, and that's, you know, in very simple terms what I do day to day. And yeah, so I'm based in Madrid, in sunny Madrid, fairly hot outside. I know that some of you guys are in winter time, so I just wanted to make you a little bit jealous. And yeah, so I got two very simple objectives today, guys. And first one is to make you half as excited. If I can actually get you half as excited as I am about this massive opportunity that we get in small, for me would be mission accomplished, right? So I am super excited. I guess the team at Cisco and Cisco as a company is tremendously eager and excited to about this new segment that we've created this year, and we want to make sure that you guys, our partners, are at least as half as excited as we are to make sure that, you know, we all can grab this opportunity together. That's my first objective of today. My second objective is actually to make sure that you really understand what do we have in the shelf for you, right? So we got an amazing portfolio. I'm going to share some of those details with you all later today, and I'm going to make sure also you understand where it's actually all the marketing wrappers as well as our programs and incentives that we got prepared to make sure that you're able to grab as much of this opportunity together with us and obviously with Comstor. All right, so let's go straight into it. And yeah, so, you know, I'm not discovering the hot water here when I tell you that, you know, a small business is big business. It's a huge opportunity. But I think this slide is important now given the environment, because, you know, still small businesses are a huge opportunity, right? Those small businesses still represent half of the entire world's GDP, all right? So it's a massive contribution to the economy at the minute. Those businesses still employ 2/3 of the global workforce, right? So just sit for a minute. 66% of all the employees in the world sit in small businesses, right? And that actually, you know, presents a huge opportunity for all of us, but also presents sometimes, you know, a huge challenge for them. Because, you know, after all the surveys that we've done, most of them are telling us that are really eager to embrace new technology. But this thing has gone onto asteroids because, you know, given this new pandemic that we are going through, that, you know, we're all suffering, we've all seen how all these small businesses have actually need to either adopt those new technologies to be able to simply survive, or, you know, to Mike's point earlier, right? So they've actually been able, or, you know, they're needed to adopt some of these new technologies to actually to be able to expand through all these challenges. And the most interesting part for all of us, and actually, you know, that's where actually to me what presents a huge opportunity, is that 30% of all those small businesses globally yet find that adopting of those technologies is a challenge for them, right? Which means that they need help. They need help from people like you, from our partners and our distributors. All right. So we've been in this business for a few quarters now, right? And we've spent tons of dollars to really understand how our business or how the small businesses are actually buying from us. So I just wanted to share with you, you know, what we've learned over the past few quarters, right? And this, I don't want to oversimplify the message here, but I thought it would be important to really understand what are the type of customers that we got in front of us. And, you know, so you probably know it better than I do, but I just wanted to share with you kind of the learnings that we got along this way. So first of all, it's very simple, right? So I guess that and probably you would agree with me when I say that there are two types of small business customers here, right? Or small business buyers, if you like. One type of small business customer would be that small business that they don't have any IT staff, and that owner, or even that guy is actually the finance the finance person, is the procurement, and he will actually be the IT guy as well, right? So those guys have some business priorities, right? So the main worries or the main concerns is around growing the business, making sure that today they stay alive, they are able to serve their customers, right? They actually be able to manage all those operational budgets super efficiently, right? So every dollar counts on these days, right? So that's top of mind for those guys. But at the same time, while they try to keep their business alive, they actually need to make sure that they deliver the best experience to the customers, because they actually need to keep growing their business. All right. So that's what that's what they think when they wake up every day. On the other hand, you got actually so those small businesses where they can actually afford to either have an IT manager, or they've actually seen the value of going with a VAR or with a partner like you, maybe with a service provider, with a managed service provider, where because they understand the value of what you guys can do for them, right? So they still worried about the business growth. They actually still worry about that serving better the customers, but they also have a big component on IT. All right, so they got part of their mindset focused on IT. So they actually also worried, to making sure that technology that they've implemented through you is apt when the customers need it, is apt and reliable when the employees need it, right? They're actually very concerned about the security threats, right? Because so they are actually fully aware that 73% of all the small business globally are being attacked or will be attacked over the course of the next 12 months, right? So they are perfectly aware of that, and they actually have security as a top of mind, right? But obviously, again, so they're a small business, and mostly now, price and the total cost of ownership for that technology, it needs to be on point, right? It needs to be exactly what they need to make sure that, as I said, they serve the customers better, right? I guess one thing that all those two type of buyers or two type of small business customers have in common is all of them understand the value of technology, right? But they understand it on a different way. Sorry. So for the first type of buyer, technology is a way to achieve their business targets, right? It's a way to stay alive, to survive, and to make sure that they got exactly what they need to serve those customers, right? For the second type of buyer, they actually understand perfectly what technology can do for them in order to grow their business, to expand their business. They may actually have their business based on that technology. So that's actually critical. And for us, as vendors like Cisco, or like Comstor as a distributor, or like you as Comstor and Cisco partners, you need to understand what's top of mind for these type of buyers, because it's an immense opportunity, either with the first one as well as with the second one, right? So it is just to make sure that we actually put the right value, the right services, and the right portfolio to make sure that we address those top concerns those guys have when it comes to technology. So now more than ever, right? So so IT, as I said, so is extremely important for this type of customers. And you may say, right, so digitization, that's for big enterprise, for large enterprise. So I'm going to be very straight here. The answer is, yes, it's actually important for enterprises, for big, large enterprises or large corporations, but digitization is even more important for those small business customers, right? And when we go and talk to them, I spend, part of my time talking to small business customers and talking to you guys as the partners who serve those small business customers. All of them will tell you that, these are kind of the top IT mega trends that they're actually worried about, right? And so it won't come as a surprise that those mega trends are actually the same that you will actually find on the large corporations. I guess the difference is that how they actually going to implement those IT mega trends in order to serve their customers, right? And what the set of priorities for those mega trends in order to run their business. So yeah, not surprised that cloud is absolutely top of mind for those small business customers, right? But it's in a way that they're going to use it to reduce those operational costs, to save money, to make sure that their employees get greater productivity when they're actually using their applications or their tools. It's a way actually to save costs, to put in some of those applications that they actually use on their day-to-day to put it in the cloud and actually be able to pay on as they go, right? They can actually expand and reduce based on how their business grows or the business decreases, and that's actually super important. And that's why actually cloud is absolutely critical for these guys in order to be able to stay in business, right? Or even to be able to expand quickly when they need to be able to serve the customers better. Mobility, yeah, absolutely critical now, in the sense that most of us, most of you guys, most of your employees, most of your customers are actually working from home now, right? So collaboration is absolutely critical, and we need to make sure that wherever we are, we're able to deliver the same experience to our customers and eventually to the customers' customers as well. Security, as I said, is absolutely top of mind, and the best way to ensure that these customers, your customers, have security end-to-end is to deliver this on a managed service way, right? And customers actually have started to understand that, right? They don't need to worry about what are the different components that a network's got to have to be secure. They want someone that actually delivers all that for them. And there is an assumption when you go to a service provider or you go to a managed service provider as an end user, as a consumer, you would expect that service that you deliver, that you are receiving, is secured end to end. So there's exactly the same expectation that you get your small business customers will have. And believe me when I tell you, and I'm gonna develop that idea later in the presentation, that managed services now is absolutely top of mind for our customers, for your customers, and you need to start thinking, how are you going to transform yourself if you haven't started yet to be able to deliver that to deliver your current services on a managed service way. Collaboration, yeah, so we talk about it, absolutely critical now in these times, and it will be even more critical during the recovery. So it's a way for us to increase the profitability, for your customers to increase the profitability when talking to their own customers, and it's a way to ensure the business growth. And yeah, so we already touched about security, right? Because security needs to be embedded in everything we do. There's an expectation of security now along every service that your customers will receive, right? So let's make sure that we get security top of mind and it's actually delivered seamlessly in any solution or any service that we develop or we roll out to our customers. So what's our role in here? And yeah, so we know those IT megatrends, but we would agree with you, or we would agree with me. You would agree with me, sorry, that yeah, once you go and meet your customers, they would strongly agree, or they would agree that technology is changing the industry, right? So more and more of those customers, like to the extent of 86% globally, understand now the value of technology, right? So this is an immense opportunity for us, and I would say that as Mike was mentioning earlier, so besides all the struggles that we're going through the pandemic, there's also opportunities for us, right? And that, one of the key opportunities being that IT, right, or the value of IT is being seen as a great value for those small business customers during the pandemic, right? So we actually need to double down on that. But as I said, so most of our customers, most of your customers, they don't have IT staff, right? So or they don't have that person on their premises will actually help them and guide them to how that technology will help them evolve or transform their business, right? So they need help. They need help, right? And that's where you guys, our partners, and obviously Comstor, with the help of Comstor and with the help of Cisco, we will help you to make sure that you deliver that help. You are there to help those customers for them to understand the value of technology during these times, right? And that's absolutely critical, because as you can see, right, based on the researches that we've done, one of the things that those SMB customers value the most is the trust, right? That's critical for them, right? They actually they want to have relationships when it comes to IT with trusted vendors, right? So it's super important that you guys, as well as us, Cisco and Comstor, right? So become a trusted vendor for small business customers, for our small business customers into the segment. And you're gonna hear in a minute what are we doing to make sure that, yeah, our brand, the Cisco brand, is gonna help you to position that trust within your customers, within those small business customers over the next few months. So massive change at Cisco, right? So I'm going to touch a little bit on some of those things, but I guess to summarize this year, this fiscal year, and we actually, we're just 1 week and a half before closing this fiscal year, Cisco's fiscal year, for those of you that don't know. This has been the first year that Cisco as a company has created a separated segment. So small business has become a separated segment within Cisco, right? And don't underestimate what it actually means for a company of the size of Cisco, right? Creating a new segment is absolutely massive, because it's not only about, say, yeah, hello, we got a new segment, welcome to small business. It's about all what encompasses to have a segment. And it actually means marketing. It means to make sure that we actually have the right partner landscape, you guys, to make sure that we have the right right territories, the right people within the company to serve those territories, and to make sure that we're able to reach those customers, those 80 or 130 million customers that we've identified globally through you guys. So just to let you know, right? So I'm gonna spend a bit of time in each and every one of those things, but I talk about the immense opportunity that we got globally, but for the sub-Saharan Africa, the opportunity remains huge, right? So we're talking about $671 million this year, and it would be approximately the same for next year. So the one of the first statements that I'm telling you guys is that the TAM, our total addressable market, is not really contracting much, right? Because besides, yes, small businesses have been the ones hit the most or the hardest, if you like, during this pandemic. But one of the things that always happened is that the small businesses are always the first ones to recover, right? And our predictions, working with the analysts, and is that by the second half, if everything goes well, all those small business customers are going to start kind of blooming again, right? And thriving, hopefully, through this pandemic. And that's why kind of the total addressable market for us will remain intact. So the opportunity is immense for the sub-Saharan Africa, and our market share at the minute is not massive, right? So it's like, in the best case, if you look at, it would be between 8 to 9%. That's our market share at the minute. But if you look at actually the number of customers that we're transacting, it's way below that 8%, right? So the opportunity is immense. So we are scratching the surface. And that's why we actually need you guys. We need our partners, because the small business segment at Cisco, it's partner-led. It's 100% partner-led, right? So let me be very clear with that. So we just need to make sure that you guys are armed and equipped with all the right tools from us and from Comstor to make sure that you're able to deliver and grab this massive opportunity. So yeah, partner-led, 100% partner-led, and Rak mentioned at the very beginning, yeah. So partners are in our DNA, right? They are in our DNA. So Cisco and Comstor, right? So so we've been in this partnership together for a number of years together. I'm telling you here that 80%, 85% of the deals, of the Cisco deals globally, are going through partners. In small business, in this segment, is 99.6% of all the deals are going through you guys, through partners, right? So we need to make sure that we actually build that framework. We build that landscape that is going to help you kind of or is going to help you transact better with us, right? So we want to make sure that in this particular segment, we're even easier to work with, both Cisco and Comstor. And I want to make sure during the next few minutes that you understand what do we have in our back, right? Available, both Comstor and Cisco, to help you thrive with your customers and be able to grab this massive opportunity, as I said. So I guess the first thing you're gonna say, all right, so why Cisco, right? So yeah, so I know Cisco's been here, lenses, the flip cameras. So yeah, so I've been here. So for those of you who have been working with us for a few years, I've been 16 years in this company, in Cisco, and yeah, so I've been going through all this back and forth that you mentioned. So you may say, all right, so what's the difference now? Why this guy here from Madrid is telling me that I should be focused on this massive opportunity? So there's a big difference now, and the big difference is with the thing that I just said earlier, right? So it's the first time for the last 15, 16 years that I've been in this company, right, at Cisco, that we've created a new segment, right? So that actually, can tell you what does it mean in terms of commitment, right? And we are really committed. For those of you who have, we were able to attend the Cisco's Partner Summit in November last year in Las Vegas, is where we actually made the big announcements, right? We announced to the world our commitment to small. And that commitment is actually, you say, right, so it's easy to create a segment. Well, believe me, it's not easy, but I understand when you tell me that. But what does it mean for me as a partner? What does it mean for my customers? So it basically means three things. Those are kind of the three priorities that we want to make sure that you understand when we speak about small business, right? First and foremost, we've created a new portfolio. And I'm going to spend a bit of time on that in a minute, right? But we've created a new portfolio that we've put a new brand to it, which is the Cisco Design portfolio. And hopefully over the next few months, you're going to start hearing a lot about the Cisco Design portfolio, right? Because we're going to invest, and we're investing heavily on making sure that this brand is well adopted by your customers, that they understand the value behind the Cisco Design brand, and they understand, hopefully, that's going to help you to build that trust with your customers around our products and around solutions. But creating a brand or creating a portfolio is not enough, right? We need to make sure that you guys have a frictionless and a smooth experience when transacting with us. Because again, if you remember kind of my second slide when I was telling you the type of customers that we have, first customers are like, they are not that worried about, having a 24 ports, gigabit, PoE, VLANs, they just want to switch, right? Or they just want wireless for the customers. So some of those customers, they don't have the patience to wait for, for someone to quote them, to go to a partner, to wait for a quote, to ask for a discount. We need to create a frictionless experience, right? So we need to make sure that we are for our customers when they need us the most, right? And that's why, one of our key priorities for me and my team is to make sure that we actually create a frictionless experience, and we remove some of the big operational inhibitors that we got at the minute to make sure that you're able to deliver fast and quick for your customers, and you deliver a great customer experience to our customers. And obviously, again, so I'm going to say this multiple times during the next few minutes, but yeah, so you guys, our partners are key route to market for us, right? 99.6% of our deals go through you guys, right? So we need to make sure that, we got the right partner programs, that you got the right profit when selling these products onto those small business customers, right? And that's why, we're making a lot of investments, and you're going to see, a lot of that in the next few minutes, as well as, of the next few months to hopefully you will see where those, partner programs and those frameworks that are willing for you to deliver on this massive opportunity again, right? One thing I'm going to mention, right, is don't expect us to, in the 6 months from now, let's say 6 months, that we're going to come back to you and say like, yeah, we're done. So we got the small business thing, and yeah, so we're done. Good luck. Here are the partner programs. This is the portfolio. This is the new frictionless experience, the new smooth experience. This is a new platform for you to buy, and good luck. See you in 6 months. That's not going to happen, unfortunately, right? So to Mike's point earlier, right? So we're on a journey here, as well as with you guys, as well as with our customers. So we are learning along the way, and we want to make sure that you guys keep feeding all that feedback to us on telling us, what are the things that you see that we can do better, both from a vendor perspective like us, like Cisco, but as well as, with Comstor, for example. So what are the things that, we need to change to make sure that, our customers understand the value, as well as you guys are profitable along the way, right? So bear with us. This is a journey. We are really and seriously committed to this new segment, because the opportunity is massive. But there's no at end state. I guess this is the moral of the story, right? There's not gonna be a day that we're not gonna show up to you and say, yeah, it's done. We're done. We're gonna move to the next segment. So it's gonna take us few quarters to accomplish all this. So we'll double down on the portfolio, and again, so we really want to make sure that we align to those to what is top of mind for our customers in terms of IT, right? And there are basically 4 things that are top of mind for our customers. First, they want to connect. They need to connect, right, in order to access all the other technologies, right? So that's kind of the foundation of all the things they need to do. They need to compute because most of the businesses today are based on applications. The 100% of the businesses, I would say, are based on applications, and those applications run on computers, right? So either on the cloud or on plan, you need to compute as a small business customer, right? You need to compute. Obviously, you need to collaborate, right? So either virtually, in person, but or by a phone call, video, you name it, right? And we need to make sure that we provide a seamless experience for our customers when they collaborate, because we've already discussed what actually brings in terms of increased profitability and what are the things that are available into that. And obviously, you need to do all that. You need to connect, compute, and collaborate securely, right? So as I said, security is no longer kind of an add-on; it's an assumption, right? So what we've done here at Cisco is to create this portfolio we actually, will deliver on all these 4 IT care abouts, right? So if you look to connect, so we got a set of portfolio. What we've done is put all our Meraki, all MR, MS, and MX into the connect bucket. We launched in some part of the world a new subset of the Meraki portfolio, which is called Meraki Go, which we're working very, very hard to bring to Africa over the next few months. And you're going to start hearing from us and from the Cisco and the Construct team about the Meraki Go portfolio over the next few months. It's not available at the minute, but it will come fairly soon. We got the low-end switches, like from the Cisco Business or the oldest BTG portfolio as part of the Connect. And we also have our Mobility Express or IronNet access point as part of the Connect portfolio, right? On compute, it's all about HyperFlex. We're actually working on delivering a lighter version, of the HyperFlex Edge to make sure that we get an on-prem solution. We're also exploring some partnerships with AWS, with Microsoft, and with other players to make sure that we get a joint solution in the cloud for our small business customers, in the same way that we're doing with enterprise friends or large corporations. We want to have a same sort of partnership for a small business, and we're working on that. Collaboration is all about WebEx, right? So most of you should be already familiar with WebEx Teams and with WebEx meetings. Hopefully, most of you are carrying most of your day-to-day virtual meetings with WebEx. But yeah, so that's kind of our core of our strategy for the collaborate bucket. And obviously, secure is all about our cloud offers, right? So we want to make sure that, as I told you earlier, right, whatever you are and whatever you are in the world, either you are in the office or if you are visiting a customer or you are at home, you are secure along the way. All right, and that's why all our cloud offers would play a key role like Duo, Umbrella, or our VPN solutions, right? And obviously, without forgetting, like Meraki MX, as I told you earlier, which is like kind of our Meraki solution for security, as well as our Firepower 1010, which is a kind of new low-end Firepower or firewall solution for small businesses. All right. But what's really, really important is just, as I said, so these products, and you're gonna see, or you're gonna keep seeing new announcements, and that's a big difference for us, right? Are fully designed, and the coming ones will fully designed as well and curated for small businesses, right? So again, going back to what are the differences of what we were doing and what we were not doing earlier, or compared with what we were doing in the past, this is all about making sure that we actually, build specific products for those small business customers. It's not about buying a new company as we did with Linksys, or this is about building a whole portfolio that's going to tap on all those care abouts that I was mentioning before. And zooming in a little bit on what are those top care abouts today for your customers, right? During this pandemic, during these horrible times that we're all going through at the minute. So these are kind of the 5 use cases that we can identify that are kind of top of mind for your customers. First and foremost is like work from home, right? So most of us have been actually forced to work from home. I mean, I've been so privileged, of working for a company like Cisco, like, that's been part of their DNA for years now, right? So for us, it's been a very, very seamless experience, right? From moving to the office to our home offices. But, for some of your customers, that's not that seamless, all right? They've not been used to work from home. They're not aware where the tools that are available to enhance that experience, right? So that's extremely important that actually, we assure that we're able to deliver on the value of technology, how we can help them. You can help them to be able to have that business continuity, either regardless of whether they're at their houses or whether they are on their offices, right? Another key top of mind for them would be that always on business, right? So this is all about resiliency, right? This business or these customers need to stay alive, right? And there are certain solutions that will help them to stay alive, like as we're discussing WebEx. There are things that will keep helping them to meet their customers, even if they are not on their offices. So that's all about making sure that we have the business continuity. We need to make sure that that whatever they do, they're protected, they're secure. All right. So that cybercrime protection, all our security offers would play a key role. Workplace monitoring, right? So some of your customers are not on their offices now, right? And that presents a big opportunity for some of the bad guys, right? So they want to make sure that their workplace, their physical workplace, is secure, right? So we need to make sure that we offer solutions like the Meraki cameras, for example, that will actually help them monitor the business when they are not there. All right, monitor the workplace when they are not there. But at the same time, in some of the countries that we live, there's some mandatory social distancing between the desks, right? And there are solutions again like the Meraki MV camera that will help all your customers, to make sure that social distancing is respected by their employees or by their customers when they are visiting, to make sure that they're compliant and they're absolutely respectful with the rules that some of the governments are putting in place. But as Mike mentioned earlier as well, right? For some of your small business customers, this is not about resiliency. This is a huge opportunity to expand, right? And be certain that some of your customers are really looking now to expand, to grow their business, right? To open new offices, because so real estate prices are coming down in some of the locations. So for those customers, for those small businesses that have a good cash flow, this might be a huge opportunity to expand, something that we already had planned, but this now is a massive opportunity for them to go and grab that new office. For that, so we need to make sure that we actually are able to deliver those solutions that will help them start up a new office, right? To make sure they actually get something that they can help them to start quickly and to make sure they actually start delivering that value to the customers. So that's why for us it's extremely important that, so we understand what the top use cases are and we align our portfolio to those use cases. And that's exactly what we've done a few months ago, or actually a few weeks ago at Cisco Live US, right? All the links are embedded in my presentation, so you're gonna see all the links when you receive the slides. But behind each and every one of these use cases, you will see what will be the right portfolio from Cisco to be able to serve your customers better, all right? As I was telling you anyway, so not all your customers are at the same stage, right? And actually, if you look at where they are mostly now on this pandemic, you need to be sure what will be the right portfolio to position where depending on where your customers are in this journey, right? This journey, or these phases or these stages are not coming from us, from Cisco, or from me. These are actually coming from Gartner, all right? And they basically told us that there are like three main phases, right? And you can argue, like, depending on where you are in Africa at the minute, and depending, most of your customers would be in the startup phase, right? Which are the phase that, they are super price conscious, right? They may be at the minute for now, IT is not a priority, all right? But they actually need IT. They need all that IT infrastructure to keep delivering their services to the customers, right? But they're super price conscious, right? And they can't afford any complication. They really want an easy installation, and they tend to be conservative when it comes to IT adoption, right? For that, the perfect portfolio is Cisco Business, right? The all is BTG, the all is Small Business Technology Group, and we're gonna double down in that in a minute. And the next few months, and I kept it. I know it's not available at the minute. That Meraki Go portfolio in Africa, it will be available over the next few months. But that's kind of the perfect portfolio, both Cisco Business and Meraki Go, that to address those type of customers, right? That I'm aware, you won't be able to make a lot of money on margin or by selling those products, but that will create a relationship with those type of customers, right? So don't underestimate their opportunity to deliver that Cisco Business router, that Cisco Business switch to some of your customers, because margin won't be huge for you, but it will help you sit that opportunity for the months to come. Because I'm going to assure you that business that is price conscious, that is in a startup today, is going to expand, right? And that's where we go to the next stage, which is the expansion stage. Those are the customers that still they want value for money, right? They're expanding, right? So the top priority is business growth, but they understand, or they've started to understand, the value of technology, but they need to have a scalable technology, right? So technology that is proven, all right, and they might actually be a bit keen to start kind of piloting some of those new technologies, right? Again, for those type of customers, they are looking at value for money. They are kind of expanding at the minute. They want to grow the business. Cisco Business, kind of the higher end of the Cisco Business, would be the right solution for that, right? So focus on Cisco Business, help them to understand what's the value of it. We have like very, very sophisticated switches, routers, and access points now with the announcement of the Cisco Business Wireless that we're going to help those customers to expand. Those are switches or wireless access points that comes with the latest features for those type of customers that are looking for expand. So don't underestimate the value of the Cisco Business portfolio, if you like. And then you have the very established customers, the very established small business that maybe are actually expanding, and they really, or they're basing their business on technology, right? So they are more sophisticated customers. They actually may need to have they understand the full value of the Meraki APIs, for example, of the Meraki dashboard. They can actually extract all the value of the analytics of the Meraki dashboard. They value the quality of the technology. They don't care that much about price, because they know they're actually going to make money of that technology, right? So that's where, as I said, the Meraki, Cisco Meraki, the Catalyst software, which is extremely flexible with all the APIs, with the DNA Center, AutoNet portfolio, that would be the right portfolio or the right products for those type of customers. So let me double down on Cisco Business, because so over the past few weeks, I've been noticing that this is kind of our best kept secret in our Cisco portfolio, and I just want to make sure that all of you walk off today this amazing event at least understanding that this portfolio exists, right? This portfolio is called Cisco Business, and I guess that if I put myself on your shoes today, guys, and I guess like you can relate to some of these statements, but when you go and visit some of your customers, you may face like, these guys have very complex networks, multi-vendor networks, so they actually, they keep calling the vendor because, given that multi-vendor network, which is complex, so they need to call multiple vendors, and it makes you call multiple vendors. Security and privacy, again, is not embedded into the solutions. You may have a firewall here and there. You may have a VPN server here and there, and that is not really connected. reliability of some of the our competing vendors, it's not top of mind for them. Let me put it that way, on a nice way. And you need customers keep complaining to you, but you sometimes are saying like, yeah, so my customers understand Cisco, but it may be too expensive for them. But here we come, right? So you will get a portfolio which is called Cisco Business, which it kind of delivers of the promise of the more kind of a traditional Cisco with all those amazing feature sets, but it will actually allow you to be competitive, right, at the right price for those small business customers, right? I'm going to show you in a minute, but this portfolio, the Cisco Business, which hopefully most of you are already aware, it can actually be set up in minutes, right? We announced a few weeks ago a mobile, well, actually Cisco Live Barcelona, time flies with this when you are confined, I guess. But yeah, so we announced a mobile app even for this Cisco Business portfolio, which would allow you to configure your Cisco Business wireless access points or your mesh extenders through a mobile application, right? So that will actually massively simplify your management and operations. We're actually refreshing all our training, particularly small business certification, and you're gonna hear a lot about that over the next few months to make sure you're fully aware of what the Cisco Business portfolio is all about, where the new gadgets that we're actually launching into the market with that. We have a full integration on that portfolio with Cisco Umbrella. So that's fully integrated. So forget about separated add-ons if your customers don't need it. So Umbrella will be fully integrated on the portfolio. And this solution, guys, has been in the market for more than 12 years, right? So it's an extremely proven solution. We're refreshing the whole portfolio. Actually, that's the reason we're actually, refreshing this SBTE brand to Cisco Business. That's going to be called Cisco Business. And you're going to see a number of announcements around this new Cisco Business portfolio coming up very, very soon. So what's new? I kind of gave you a sneak peek a minute ago, right? But, I hope that most of you are already aware of the Cisco Business Wireless Access Point. It's the new CBW access point and its mobile application, right? That's something that, we're very, very proud of being launched as part of the Cisco Design portfolio. And I would ask you, all of you, to please go and ask Comstor, ask your distributor at Comstor here to about the Cisco Business Wireless portfolio, right? Give it a try. Make sure that your customers are aware of it. Make sure that you understand all the feature set that is built on these amazing access points, because they are the right price point. There are no more excuses that that ubiquity or this access points have been fully designed to be ubiquity. And let me be very clear with you. All right. So this have the right price point and an enhanced feature set and more reliability than our ubiquity pairs. All right. I briefly talk about Meraki Code. So yeah, that will become available over the next few months. So bear with me. I promise that I will make it available in Africa over the next few months. It's not available everywhere at the minute because we want to have a very phased rollout. We launched the Catalyst 1K switch, and yeah, so tons of things that I'm gonna give you kind of a sneak peek as well. So in the next few weeks, we'll be announcing a new switch as well as part of the new Cisco Design portfolio that is gonna again help you compete and help you position all this portfolio against some of the vendors that I mentioned. So speaking about competitors, right? And I kind of mentioned ubiquity a minute ago. I just want you to be very, very clear that if you look at at the 4 buckets like network, secure, compute, and collaborate, Cisco is the only vendor in the world, right, that can actually deliver a solution across all these 4 pillars, right? So we are the only vendor in the world that is even close to deliver across all these 4 pillars, right? And I want you to make sure that you are aware of that, and I want to make sure that you understand all the tools and offers and programs that we get available for you to help you position that statement with your customers, right? For that, we got the competitive war rooms. which I got the link there. Make sure that you're aware. It's on Sales Connect. You all should have access to that war room if you're a certified or registered Cisco registered partner. Sorry, you will actually get access to the competitive program. There are some channel competitive insights. We recently got a flash session around Zoom, right? So given all the buzz around Zoom, so we got some competitive spotlight sessions that here's the link. Make sure that you go and look at it. And if you got any question, please go to Comstor, right? So your team, the Cisco Comstor team is fully equipped and enabled to help you beat any single of these competitors when you are facing them in the field. All right. So make sure that you reach out to them and and bookmark all these great tools that we made available for you over the next few days, hopefully. All right. So yeah, just to wrap up, so I'm conscious of time and I tend to overrun because I get too excited about the Cisco design portfolio. But yeah, so this kind of our promise around the Cisco design portfolio, right? It's fully designed and curated for a small business. These are, we are really committed to make sure that we deliver all those IT careabouts that I was mentioning before. But there's one thing that I really wanted to double down, as I promised you. For some of your customers, and particularly now, that shift from CapEx to OpEx, or shifting those IT expenses from CapEx to OpEx is key, right? And that's why it's extremely important that you guys understand that becoming an MSP, a managed service provider, is actually critical for you guys to be able to serve your customers better over the next few months, right? So if you look at what are the key drivers for your customers, why actually they need an MSP, and I kind of mentioned a few of those at the very beginning, right? Digitization is for everyone. It's not only for the large corporations. Security embedded in everything they do is an assumption. It's a given. So security should be embedded in anything that you do on IT. And the best way to do that is through a managed service, right? Because security is on the cloud and it will actually be built into the solution or embedded into the solution by default. Given that increased technical complexity, all those customers will rely more and more on partners like you. So the best way to scale and for you guys to serve more of those customers is to deliver those services, your current service, on a managed service way. So your customers now, they want to spend every dollar to grow the business or to stay alive, right? So there's a huge demand for pay-per usage, right? They just want to pay for what they consume. They don't, maybe they just want to pay for the security licenses they actually use them. They don't want maybe to buy at the minute a huge firewall to serve their customers, but they are more interested to have all that solution in the cloud and just pay for the users or for the employees they have in the company. And all that they need to do in an agile way, and very, very quick, right? Because as I told you, some of your customers need to grow very, very fast at the minute because they've actually been very, very constrained over the past few months. So they don't actually have the time to wait for a 2-3 months deployment or a 1 month deployment. They need to grow now. They need to start serving the customers now because they cannot afford to lose a single minute. And obviously, again, all of them, as we've been discussing over the past 40 minutes, they got limited resource, they need to scale, and then the expertise from you guys. So yeah, becoming an MSP is absolutely critical. And what all the analysts are telling us is that you guys need to change. You need to start thinking of changing how you guys are going to deliver all these solutions on a managed service way, right? And you may say, all right, yeah, that's great, but how Cisco is going to help us? So we've massively, and we're actually, trying to simplify that our offers for managed service providers. And actually, if you look at the 3 big areas, which is where the MSPs actually play, which is network or connect, secure, and collaborate. So at the minute today, most of the MSPs, and you might be already an MSP and you can relate on what you're seeing here, are relying on many, many, many different vendors to be able to deliver on all the 3 pillars like network, secure, and collaborate. What we really want to do is to really simplify our offering. And again, we really want to make sure you understand the value of Meraki, as well as Umbrella and Duo, as WebEx on all these 3 areas. And what we're actually doing is to simplify the dashboards and to simplify the offering to make sure that once you build those solutions on a managed service way, you're able to deliver very, very simplified or on a very, very simple way to your customers with this simple portfolio, like Meraki, Umbrella, and Duo, as well as WebEx. All right. I don't want to wrap up today without giving you again a sneak peek on what we're doing from a marketing perspective. All right. And I guess one of our key areas for next year is to make sure that your customers understand the value of the Cisco Design brand, right, and the relevance. And we actually can build on that trust thing that we were discussing at the very beginning. So we're going to invest a lot on our cover to make sure that that our brand, that Cisco Design brand, is more apparent in some of the digital channels. In some countries, we actually have been investing on some radio or TV ads. But we really want to make sure that we put some money on the paid media, right? And your customers are able to identify Cisco as a small business trusted brand, right? We want to make sure that we develop new routes to market, and again, so that's why Comstor and the team are doing a great job on delivering the value of MSP, on helping you guys to transform and become an MSP. So we put a lot of effort on a joint effort with Comstor on the joint enablement to make sure that you understand what are the things that you guys need to change internally as a business, and how to be able to become an MSP, and what are the portfolio or what's the solutions that you can leverage from Cisco Design to deliver onto this opportunity. And obviously, this demand, we're going to launch very, very soon a business resiliency sprint or campaign to make sure that your customers understand all those 5 core use cases that I was telling you earlier, like work from home, cybercrime protection, all those 5, they understand what's the portfolio behind it and what are the promotions that are behind Fast Track, right, to help you, be competitive with those customers on those use cases. And yeah, small business summits like this, we want to make sure that we actually drive the awareness. Distribution Champions Club is absolutely critical for our distributors and for some of our partners. Why Cisco for a small business? We're doubling down in that campaign. So, Comstor is doing a brilliant job on making sure that you guys understand why Cisco, and you're able to articulate that value to our customers in the same way that I've tried to do today. All right. So yes, to wrap it up today, guys. So yeah, so we are 100% committed to your success in this segment, and we do fully acknowledge that for you guys to be successful, you need to be profitable, right? And that's why we're making a lot of changes in our programs, like OIP, for example. So we are creating a streamlined approval process for OIP. Hopefully, you've already started noticing that every time you raise an OIP, it gets approved faster. Perform Plus, is our flagship program in the space, as you know. So you're gonna earn more rebates of Perform Plus if you actually sell to small business customers. So we will want to make sure that you're aware of that. CMSP for our managed service providers. So there's a great way to get rebates as well as to create some marketing fund to double down on this opportunity or to become a managed service provider. And obviously, Fast Track and Excel keep being kind of our flagship programs on the space. So support, we are doubling down on the support with you guys and with Comstor, right? So we are here. This is a great example of what we mean with the small business Cisco partner events. And there are more of these community events coming up our way of the next few months. Marketing is absolutely critical, so I would urge you to go to the Marketing Velocity Central. For those of you who are not aware, that's kind of a repository of campaigns for small business and for everything. Go there. So Radius program is something really hot and really new that we're launching with Comstor of the next few months. Comstor is gonna make you aware of what actually means for you. And obviously, the joint marketing funds will actually remain available for those of you who are actually eligible. And again, working with Comstor very close to make sure we double down on the opportunity. So just to wrap it up, enablement, yes. We're going to launch over the next few months, just to let you know, a new specialization for you guys to make sure that you're fully aware of the portfolio, which is going to be called a small business specialization. And we're going to double down on trainings, webinars, demos, and trials, right? So, guys, I'm really conscious of time. I mean, I cannot thank you enough for your time. I cannot thank you enough I cannot thank you enough, Comstar, and my Cisco colleagues in Africa for inviting me here. I'm going to remain available over the course of the presentation. If you have any question or anything, feel free to post it. I just want to say again, guys, this is a huge opportunity for all of us. Please do let us know how we can help you better. I'm more than keen to listen to your feedback. We're not going to, transform the whole company in just a few months, but we are absolutely committed to make sure that whatever we do is with you guys, with Comstar, and that's it. I hope that next time I'm going to be able to deliver this in person. And thank you very much. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Ignacio. Every time I listen to you, I learned something new. It was always a nice experience. If you just hang on for a bit, we'll give about 5 minutes to the audience for questions. And if we don't have enough time to answer them all, we will take them and then we will provide answers to the audience much later. But let's spend 5 minutes here and take some questions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Vincent and Ignacio, we have a question in the room. Question is, Ignacio, when will Cisco Capital come into the region, basically to Africa?
Yeah, so that's actually an excellent question, and we are just to let you know, guys. So you know, I guess you know better than anyone the taxing and some of the issues that we have in some of the countries in Africa when it comes to the high interest rates and everything. So we're actually working is to develop a specific. Hopefully, after that pilot, we will look to extend it to some of the other countries. But yeah, that's absolutely top of mind, because we really want to make sure that you guys are equipped with those Cisco Capital offers to be able to assist your customers to make that move from CapEx to OpEx. So we are fully aware of that. And but just bear with us, because it's not easy, as you know. And we just want to pilot it in some countries before we launch it across the entire continent, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay, so there's one question here. It's very open-ended. I like this kind of questions because you can answer it any way you like. It's what's Cisco's biggest ambitions?
Oh my God! So I mean, for those of you guys who know me, I guess I can talk for another hour, and I'm not sure that my Comstar folks are going to be very comfortable with that. But I guess if I got to pick one at the minute, right, today is to make sure that we help. And let me just kind of underline that word, help our small business customers to thrive through this pandemic, right? And we see the power of technology. We see what we've been able to do over the past few years, or 35 years that we've been in business with technology, and we really want to make sure our biggest ambition at Bennett is to be able to help our customers and our partners to thrive through this pandemic, right? And put our technology to help them, and to put our technology to make sure they can actually expand and they can actually recover quickly of all the effects that this pandemic is causing all of us, right? So that's our biggest ambition at the minute, to be very honest with you, Vincent. And that's why we want to make sure that you guys are fully equipped with this technology, as well as with the right programs to make sure that we're able to help our customers now.
Thank you.
Okay, there's another question. So question is, how do we as a reseller compete against the WebEx pricing that is available directly, right? So obviously it's easy for small business to use, and it seems that this particular partners can beat this direct pricing from Cisco to the end customer.
Yes. That's a really good point, by the way. So, and we are aware of that issue, and I cannot give you all the details at the minute, but we are actually working on some changes on the Cisco WebEx partner program, right? To make sure that's not an issue anymore. All right. So I'm gonna give you all the details at the minute, but yeah, expect to hear from me, from Comstor, from the Cisco African team on this over the next few months. Yeah, I'm aware, and we will make some changes to make sure that you guys are competitive when selling that.
Thanks, Ignacio. Because we're running short of time, we will. I know there's so many questions in the background. One thing that I can assure everyone is that we'll collect those questions, we'll roll them up to Ignacio, we'll get them answered, and when we send out the packs after the summit, we would answer those questions. Thank you very much again, Ignacio. Looking forward to see you again, even if it's not physical in Africa, albeit virtual, and looking forward to hearing more from you in the
Thank
nearest
you very
future.
much. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
I'll go on here. Ignacio, you can yes, thank you very much. I'm going to introduce my colleague, my twin, Louise. Louise likes to have fun, and it's time for her to bring in some fun into this. It's not just going to be death by PowerPoint. Louise?
Hi, Vince. Thank you. Well, what a great session, guys. I really enjoyed it. I don't know about you. And I hope you've enjoyed the summit thus far. We're going to go in a 15-minute comfort break. But before we go, why don't you actually take the puzzle challenge? You'll see there, you can click on the bottom of your screen. And the person who completed the puzzle the quickest will win a $150 voucher either from Amazon or Take Along, depending on your region. And then we'll see you in 15 minutes time where Nico Vermeulen will actually present to us. Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you had a nice break and some coffee. Alright, so I'm going to announce the winner of the puzzle. That person will get $150 of either Amazon or Takealot, and the winner is Riyad Isak. Well done, Riyad. Okay, now I am delighted to introduce Nico Vermeulen. We've worked with him for many years. Nico knows Cisco. He's managing the ComStore EMEA, Cisco Enterprise Networking Architecture. And one of the things that we love about Nico is his sense of humor. So Nico, please dazzle us with your presentation.
Cool. Thank you, Louise. Always good to join. And Louise, specifically for you, as you can see, I shaved myself. So normally I don't do that, but especially for you, I did that just to make sure that I would look good. So as you can see, my hair is growing very fast, and I was even thinking of cutting that myself, but then I thought, okay, I'm going to be live presenting for a couple of hundred people, so I just skipped that one. So I'm going to do it next time when I have the time to go to the hairdresser. So I would say welcome everyone. Welcome to this new virtual world that we now live in, and how the world has changed the last couple of months, right? It's been extremely challenging for everyone, but also very exciting, I would say. You know, I've been doing a lot of WebEx calls and virtual calls not only for work, but also with friends and family and so on. And actually, I also attended virtual barbecues, virtual beer tasting, wine tasting, all these kind of things. So that was really exciting for me. It's new, but it was so good that even when we can still meet people now, at least in the country where I live in, which is Belgium, we still keep on doing those things. So, but the question is, the new normal or the virtual world, is that really new? I would say no, because exactly 20 years ago, this game was launched by the gaming industry, which is called The Sims, you know, that new virtual world environment. And I think they're already at version 5 or 6, which is still the most popular game sold within the gaming industry. So it's not new. Exactly what we experience today, which is actually fantastic. This is the second time that I'm doing this experience with Europe, and it's all supported by Cisco WebEx. And it's a fantastic way of really getting in touch with you, but also our partners in this way. So it's fantastic still that we have tools in place, just like WebEx, coming from Cisco, that allows us to stay in touch with each other. And all made possible by one single vendor, which is Cisco. Now, underneath this, obviously, what is very important is the network, because the network is the engine of everything. Okay, the network was always there to provide connectivity to the users and obviously to any application that is out there. That's really key. But what has changed the last couple of months suddenly is also the environment that we connect to. And on top of that, together with the environment, suddenly security became more and more important. While it always has been important, but now specifically from the environment, it's important because nowadays, you're not only working in the office or a branch office anymore, but you work from home, you work from your backyard, maybe from your tree house. I know some people working from the bathroom or whatsoever. So it's important that we also secure that environment. So the new normal environment, at least for me, but I'm really sure that a lot of you experienced the same thing, 3 or 4 months ago, is that this suddenly became the new environment. Okay? You had to work from home and you could decorate your own home office. Some of us already had a home office, but a lot of people were not used to work from home, so they had to go home, decorate the office. I even had a lot of pictures coming from colleagues and so on. You know, I decorated my office this way and so on the cellar and so on. So really cool to see, but still challenging. But for me, you know, every day it started spinning up my favorite tools, you know, which is really WebEx Teams to stay in touch with my colleagues, but also AnyConnect to make sure that I could have a secure connection to the applications that I would use every single day. Now, I'm sure that this will resonate to many people, but, you know, every day started a bit like this, you know, full of energy, you know, that first cup of coffee and you think, okay, let's go on, spin up my WebEx sessions and do my calls and so on. But then you suddenly realize, oh yes, it's true, kids could not go to school. So personally, myself, I have 3 children, so they also were working, were doing pre-teaching at home. And then you realize some of them are using Netflix, some of them are using the Disney Channel. My oldest son was actually using or playing Fortnite all the time. And then you realize, oh my God, what about my bandwidth? Because everyone in my house was actually fighting for the same bandwidth, right? So, but I must say, thank God, I'm also using Cisco technology at home, which allows me to really spin up the bandwidth and divide it between the children, and obviously put some quality of service also in it. So at least I could make sure that my video calls and so on had most of the bandwidth and the quality of service. But I still remember that first week, stressful times. I started off with the energy, but then as soon as it became almost 2 or 3 p.m., I was looking like this after eight cup of coffees, obviously, right? But at the end, and I'm still thinking this way after 3 or 4 months working home, I was really pleased to say, you know what, I could stay safe and I could stay connected to anyone that I wanted to work, but also family related and friends. And again, all made possible by one single vendor, which is Cisco. So every issue brings new opportunities, because I had a lot of discussions also with some friends and family that work in different organizations. But every issue brings opportunities. Like I said here, is that what I saw here in Europe, suddenly, new hospitals, new field hospitals need to spin up. We had enormous issues to having those mouth masks in place, specifically in Belgium. And then that experience, that new experience when you go out shopping, right? You had to stand up in the queue because there was a security person, and sometimes I laughed because some of them really looked like a bouncer, to let you people come in, one by one, make sure you wear a mask and also wash your hands. I would assume it's all around the world that those are the similar rules that everyone had to follow. So a lot of new experience, but technology is something that can help us a lot. And that's why I say, do not underestimate the creativity of people and systems and existing systems and tools and software. Give you a couple of examples. For those who know DNA Spaces runs both on Cisco Meraki and on Cisco Classic. There's a couple of features in there that were existing, but were now specifically used due to COVID times. And this is, one of them is the right now. It allows you to count people in an automated way. Imagine that you have your own a building or your office, and you have those Cisco access points or Meraki access point. The software will count the people into the building. That allows you to count people, really say, oh, my building is getting too stuffed with people. We have to be careful because social distancing is going to be an issue. And so on. Think about schools, any public places, all done via Cisco DNA Spaces. And obviously with the integration of APIs connected to WebEx Teams, even that system could be automated and send alerts to WebEx Teams that could be seen on your mobile devices also. Another example that I have seen specifically in Belgium is using Cisco technology again, so using the TP systems from Cisco built into robots, so people that were in the hospitals, they could still stay in contact, because I've watched the news every single day like everyone else, and it was really devastating to see that people were in the hospital and they could not have contact with their relatives, families, and so on. Not for a day, not for a week, but for a couple of weeks, and some of them even for months. So can you imagine if you're in that situation? Well, this technology helped those people to still stay in contact with their relatives, friends, and families. And the last one, another example, is around Meraki. Meraki also has the MV cameras, and the MV cameras can do some similar things just like DNA Spaces. It can also monitor social distancing. So imagine that what I mentioned about when you go shopping and you see that bouncer or that security person in front of the store, really counting people all the time going in and out. Well, Meraki MV could do that for you. It could count also the people going in and out, or in hospitals could even count the visiting times, because at least in Belgium, people could only visit some relatives only for a short amount of time. So these cameras would also allow you to do this for you in an automatic way. So again, the technology that we are selling currently, there are now a lot of developments going on in the software to help us through these unprecedented times. So I would say a lot of opportunities are still there. So it's not all bad. You just have to look into your own countries and see what can be done with the existing technologies. Now, a lot of people already mentioned, yeah, Nico, that's probably fine with Cisco, but that's most likely to sit in the enterprise solutions companies and so on. Well, I can only say no way. Cisco is bringing down these features into the small business. So it's not necessarily anymore for those large enterprise companies, also within the small business. What's really good about Cisco is, many things are good, but they had a lot of experience in the enterprise business, because in the enterprise business, there are a lot of things that can go wrong and so on. So a lot of features that those customers need, and Cisco is learning from them. Okay, and they're bringing it down into small business, because also in small business, people need similar features, less expensive, obviously. So Cisco is bringing it down to small business also. Now, this is something that you need to realize a lot, because what I see at least the last 10 years is that when we talk about Cisco solutions, most of the people think about Cisco Catalyst in the switching part. And yes, it's a fantastic brand. And also on the Cisco Aeronet side, so the Cisco wireless access points, again, fantastic brand, and it all works. But you also have to look what's underneath. And Ignacio already mentioned some of these things. It's in the Cisco design portfolio. Okay, you have the enterprise levels, but now you also have an entire Cisco design portfolio that is also backed up by Talos. So my message to anyone is, okay, Catalyst, Aeronet, Cat9K, all these things, fantastic enterprise. So for more users and so on, but also look underneath what is there, because you will find an entire portfolio that is specifically designed for small business. So Cisco designed in a nutshell. So these are all the solutions that are part of the Cisco design portfolio. So in terms of wireless connectivity, you have Meraki. You will have Meraki Go, like Ignacio said, it's not yet available, but it will become available. You have the Cisco business portfolio. And then on the wired side, you also have Meraki. You have Meraki Go, you have Cat9K, and then you have the Cisco business switches, so the SG series. And during the summer, August, September timeframe, there will be an entire new series launched also. So there's enough in there to help your customers. Something very important, because it's really a key changer within Cisco in terms of the competitors, is the security part. Okay? Security is embedded in every single Cisco product, from small up to enterprise. And in fact, it went the other way around. Like I said, Cisco learned a lot from the enterprise customers and brought those features into the small business customers also, and into the solution, because also within small business, they face challenges. So these are the solutions that are also part of the Cisco design portfolio. On the app side, because I'm sure that you have seen that a lot, everything has become app-based now, and a lot of companies have moved to e-commerce platforms and making sure that they also have apps available for customers. So that also obviously needs to be supported. Whilst we have the network, something or the software or the application is also running on something, right? So also for this, Cisco has solutions like HyperFlex, Intersight, or to support you with the apps, App Dynamics, and then obviously UCS, which is really critical. Just like Ignacio said in his presentation, it's that end-to-end solution. Cisco by far is the only one that can make sure that you have an end-to-end solution. So you don't need to look for different vendors anymore. Cisco has this all in one portfolio on the Cisco design portfolio. And then last but not least, my favorites actually, to stay in touch, to collaborate with each other. We still have Cisco WebEx and WebEx Teams, TP systems, telephone systems, even the headsets they now have available. So really a complete portfolio that is also available for small business. Now, I'm going to repeat a couple of words that Ignacio already mentioned, but why would you care about small business? First of all, it's a 7 billion market opportunity. Like you already mentioned, 90% of all businesses worldwide is a small business. 66 to 70% of all employees work within small business. And 50 to 55% of the GDP worldwide also comes off small business. So that's really a massive opportunity out there. Now, 75% of customers will connect to the internet wirelessly in 2020. Well, these COVID times increase that and accelerate that a lot. Imagine how many people are connecting now wirelessly. We used to connect only with our laptop. Now we have a phone, we have a tablet, on all these kind of things. If I look into my children, they at least have 2 or 3 devices they want to connect wirelessly with, and that's the trend that will keep on going. But there's also a risk, obviously, because 43% of cyber attacks also target small business. Now, in Europe, we had a lot of examples, and that might also be in Africa, is that these cyber attacks were mainly only to those large enterprises, the banking industry, and so on. But they're also going down into the small business, okay? More and more, because when I talk to people, they say, oh, I'm running a small business, Nico, so who would come after me? But it's happening. They also come after the small business. So also for small businesses, they have those security risks because 60% of the SMBs that go attacked will go out of business within 6 months. Okay? So that's really critical that also for small business, they also face these security risks that can be solved with Cisco. Now, 60% of time and also of the money is spent on network operations. Okay? Network operations is and what Cisco is doing, really simplifying how to manage your network. They spend enormous time the last 5-6 years in making sure that in every stack of the Cisco solutions, you can manage simplified, okay? Which is really important because specifically for small business, you know, they don't have CCIEs of a lot of engineer or really a big IT staff. So it needs to be simplified for them. And then Cisco investments, what I've seen personally myself, and that actually the game changer was in 2012 when Cisco acquired Meraki. You know, Meraki was really powerful and is still powerful because of the dashboard and that you can manage everything in that one single pane of glass. So Cisco invested a lot in all the other technologies to bring that same or similar experience at least. And then all the other efforts that Cisco is doing, a lot more promotions are now available. Some free trials, not in everything, because I know that by region it might be different. Also, like Ignacio already mentioned, payment options will most likely also come to your region. But on our Comstor side, we also have a lot of trainings available, campaign assets, and so on to help you to go into that market and obviously take your share. Now, I also know that that entire design family, or let's say the full Cisco scope of family, is not easy to follow. It's not easy to know when to pitch what. Okay, so but we are going to help you in this into our segmentation of the segment and see which I'll cover later on. But let me first start with a couple of myths that that are still out there. And I'm working with Cisco now for about 20 years. So, and some of these myths were true, let's say the first 5 years, the first 10 years, but I can really guarantee you since the acquisition of Meraki, a lot of things have changed. So one of them, what I always hear is Cisco is expensive. Well, Cisco is not expensive, but you know, you just have to find out and position the right product. You can also find a cost-effective Cisco product. So I'm giving you some examples here, and that's really critical because I know competitors like HP are really good at it because they always tend to compare their products against Cisco enterprise-level products. Remember the picture I showed you? There's life underneath Catalyst or there's life underneath Aeronet. Indeed, there is life. Because what they will do is they will start to compare their products with the 9200 and so on. But you know what? There is also something called Cisco Designed and the SG series. Okay, so you have better price, better performance, and so on. But it's really critical that you understand the positioning. And also, when you look into the price or that component, it's not only the cost of that component, but it's all the things around it. Think about the excellent support that Cisco has. Cisco tax support is world-class support. And that's not only for enterprise level, but also for the small business product, because support is really important. Cisco also has support contracts, and I know some other vendors also give lifetime warranty support, but there's a difference between warranty and the support. Cisco also has limited lifetime warranty support, but they also have the services contract because you also want to get support. You also want to get support on the iOS updates and so on. Promotions, very important, but our team within Comstor working together with Cisco, they always tend to supply you the best promotions out there because it's simply built into our systems. And soon you will also have some financing options available that allows you to pay a certain price per month. So expensive, yep. I'm sure that that Cisco's aim is not to be the cheapest in the market. They want to be the best in the market. They're still a premium band. But trust me, if you look underneath Catalyst or Aeronet and so on, you will find an entire portfolio that can help you compete against others in this space. Too complex. That's something I heard also a lot. Well, on the left side, and I know it's not yet available for you, but it's Meraki Go, and I tested that myself together with my technical colleague. Well, literally less than 5 minutes, we could set up an entire network, including guest access. Okay, that's how easy it has become, all by an app on my phone. Okay, so you could set it up in less than 5 minutes on the phone. I know it's not available for your region yet, but look at the right side, which is Cisco designed. I think Ignacio touched upon it already. It's those new CBW access points, CBW access points. It works similar. Also, again, phone, app, and you can install it in less than 5 minutes. So for me, working with Cisco, this is fantastic. I would never have thought that Cisco would go down, simplify it that much that you can set up networks via an app on your phone. But it's happening now. This is really the work that Cisco is doing to simplify all these products for this segment. Holistic, and this just gives you a full overview. Now, people who work with Cisco already for a long time might still remember Cisco Works, which was one of the first management tools. And I remember that some people even mentioned jokes like, yeah, they should name it Cisco Did Not Work, which was actually unfair, but it was still complex. So what is Cisco doing at this moment? And that's how we build our segmentation is, in some occasions, you just want to control your network, just like with Meraki Go, because it's for the small business. They don't really have an IT staff, but they still want to set it up themselves, and they only want to control their network, and that's it. That's how they do that with Cisco Meraki Go. Similar thing, manage a network, which goes a bit further, which is Cisco Find It, that can manage the Cisco Business Series, but also all those SG switches and so on. So also with Find It, which will at some point also become available on your phone, just with an app, you can also manage that network. And then automate a network. So automate a network, that's the first thing that happens, obviously, when you go for Meraki. With Meraki, it allows you to automate your network. Again, also simplified by one single dashboard, and also an app on your phone or on your tablet. And then the last piece, which is not really a small business, but I want to give you the full scope of product that Cisco has, is assure a network. And that's anything that has to do with Cat9K, access point switching, but also with DNA Center. Okay, but that's more enterprise level. But that's how we categorize also Cisco solutions. Big. Some people even say, well, Cisco is so big and so on. I would say, specifically in these times, big is safe. Cisco has a 50 billion safety net. And you might say, whoa, so, well, I've seen it already the last 10 years, but also now every day, there's some companies that are going bankrupt of these situations. So in this case, big is really safe. Cisco is still investing in a lot of technology, a lot of new products. They're out there already for like 36 years, and they will still stay there. Look it up, Google it, the last 10 years, how many major vendors have disappeared? Okay, so in this case, I would say, big is an advantage. It's not a disadvantage. And then last but not least is the security part, which is extremely important and where Cisco also plays a role. Now, when we talk about security, most people think about that door, the firewall, right? Traffic in, traffic out, which is really key. There's some vendors out there that are only doing this. For Cisco, this is just a part of their security strategy. Yes, Cisco also has firewalls in terms of Firepower or ASA, or in the Meraki world, it's DMX, but they have multiple solutions. Now, you would be surprised how big Cisco is, and it's backed up by Talos, and Talos is really important because it's really that intelligence group that they have that is checking every threat around the world, and it's embedded in every single Cisco system. Okay. Cisco is the #1 security vendor out there in terms of how many solutions there are. I know that there are other competitors like Palo Alto and Checkpoint, and I will never say anything wrong about those companies because they also have good solutions. But Cisco has multiple solutions because they have an end-to-end solution. So every single product in that end-to-end solution is linked to Talos. Okay? So it's not only the enterprise companies or the enterprise solutions that can benefit from the intelligence of Talos, but it's also dragged down into the small business products. Because imagine this, I think 90 to 95% of the routers in the world are Cisco. If you think about the email security appliances, the largest ISPs are using it, and so on. So who do you think that's going to get most of the traffic, can analyze and get most of the security risk blocked? With all these solutions, it will be Cisco. So if you think about Cisco security solutions, it's not only that firewall, it's all these solutions that you see here that build up into that end-to-end solution. And threats, just to give you an example, okay, there are threats obviously blocked also by other companies. For the likes of Palo Alto, you also have Proofpoint. Then you have Symantec, 4 million, Trend Micro, 250 million, Fortinet, obviously. But then you have Talos, and that's what my biggest point is, because of all these security solutions within that end-to-end portfolio of Cisco, they block 20 billion threats a day. So they have most of the intelligence, which is going to be also available for those small business customers. Even if you implement a small RV router or whatsoever, they can use the intelligence of Talos, which is really a big difference, because in one of my slides I already mentioned, even in small business, they should not underestimate. They can also be under attack, and they also have security risk. So keep that in mind also when you are positioning Cisco products and you're looking into the prices and so on. Don't just look into the box and this is the price. Think about support, but also the security features that run around in that end-to-end solution from Cisco. Cisco by all knows that one size is not fitting all, because you need multiple products obviously, and that's what Cisco has, and that's really a very important for Cisco, but also for you. Solutions. How did we segment this? Well, we took that entire portfolio, also in small business, and we broken it down into a couple of segments based upon price, but primarily based upon how do you manage these networks. Okay, 5-6 years ago that was not possible, but now in every segment that Cisco has, you can manage the networks differently, either via dashboard, via an app, or whatsoever. Okay, but also in small business, that's really a need. It needs to be simplified. So we've broken it down into the leave it architecture, into the control it architecture, which is primarily Meraki Go, which is, I know, not yet available for you, but it will become available. The manage it IT, which is really using Cisco Find It, or soon it will be rebranded as Cisco Business Manager. Automated, which is really the Meraki part. And then that last bucket, which is not really a small business, but more enterprise-led, it's Assure It. So that's really Cat9K and DNA Center. So this completes that full portfolio, okay? My message is, most of the people are only looking into bucket number 5 because it's Catalyst, it's Aeronet, and it's and other enterprise-led products. Are these bad products? Of course not, but it's a different segment, okay? You have to look underneath. You have to look into the first 4 buckets into the small business segmentation. Now, to give a bit more perspective on how that works, for us, we call it buy it, tweak it, leave it. And that's really small, privately held. These customers are super price sensitive, none to basic management options. So think about, the butchers and the bakery stores, they also need a network and connect PLC systems. Yes, they have guests, obviously, because we are buying something over there, but they do not necessarily facilitate wireless guests in those in the bakery store, in the barber shop, or whatsoever. Then we go to the buy it, tweak it controller, which is really Meraki Go, and that's really for those SB customers that still want to have their own network. They want to just manage a network, but limited options. They don't have an IT staff, but this solution allows them to set up a network less than 5 minutes and just control things. So that's really key for Meraki Go. Buy it, configure it, manage it is for those customers that really have already, price aware, full multi-site or multi-management, multi-tenant management. They want to interact with guests and so on. So that's already for the startups, the potential growth. Smaller education, I would say, or single retail, they can benefit from these kind of solutions. That's all about the Cisco Business Access Point, the Cisco SG switches managed by Cisco Find It or Business Manager. The next level is buy it, configure it, automate it. And the automated makes it Meraki, because Meraki allows you to automate stuff in your network, work with APIs and so on. So here we talk about, education, retail, public sector, anything that has changed in there that can be managed by Cisco Meraki into that full single pane of glass, that dashboard of Meraki that is so powerful, and where you can also, connect with APIs to third-party applications and so on. So that's the Meraki part. And that last bit, and you will notice on the left side, it's not part of the Cisco Design anymore, but it's also out there. It's the buy it, configure it, and assure it. And the assure it part really sits within Cisco DNA Center at this moment, which is a bit more enterprise level. So this is how we design the products, that full Cisco portfolio, to make sure that you have a bit more understanding on when to offer what, because I want to avoid that everyone is always leading with bucket number 5, okay, which is not bad because it's a fantastic story, but it does not always fit into the small business segment, also because of the price, obviously. But there's still 4 other buckets out there that can help you. It just depends on the users. It depends on how would you like to manage it, which is actually a fantastic question. Still, again, a lot of these solutions can be managed by single pane of glass, dashboard, app on your phone, and so on. And we still talk about Cisco, right? We don't talk about the Netgears, the D-Links, the Ubiquities, or whatsoever. No, this is Cisco. So it's really cool that they have these features also. So they can now compete also on pricing level and so on to those other competitors. So that will help you also to win deals more in the SP space. Now, we also categorize not only the enterprise products, so the networking product, but I'm going to give you a flavor of other products that also sit into that bucket, obviously, because again, Cisco has an end-to-end solution. Okay, so this is where Meraki Go sits. To give you some examples, this is here where the SG switches sit, but also on the other side, we have Umbrella, we have Dual Security, or we have WebEx calling. Meraki is similar, but here we already see that you have video endpoints and so on. And the last bit is obviously the enterprise level, which is actually also where we have UCS, etc. involved. Okay, and then obviously there's some 2 other ones that we are not going to touch today, but it's really literally for the ISPs or companies working within IoT. Okay, so our Comstor partner offerings is, our goal is really, and my goal is really to help you understand, but also experience the difference from the products in every stack. Okay, what are we building currently for you, which will become available October, November, is really a Cisco cross-architecture business academy that allows you to understand that full portfolio. And at the end, you will understand what kind of cross-architecture solutions sit into each segment that I can offer to those specific end customers. Next to that, we are also building tech labs around small business. On the Meraki side, which is already available at this moment, we have a lot of trainings available coming from the Meraki 360 that allows you to understand that full Meraki portfolio and how you manage it, but also some deep dive specialization courses around integration with ICE, or around the MX and the SD-WAN solutions, or if you want to also install cameras, DMV cameras with API connections and so on. That's all available as we speak now. And on the Assured part, it's not small business, but it sits in that Cat9K segment. We will also have courses available that you can also learn how to install them remotely. Now, my last message for everyone would be with Cisco, and trust me, with the experience I have, and I worked already with a lot of other vendors, is, with Cisco, you can bet on multiple horses at the same time because you can offer that cross-architecture solution. You can really bet on multiple horses by doing this. And when you do this, you can win more deals, but you can also win in more deals because, like I said, there are customers or vendors out there that only can supply either a security solution or maybe a wireless solution or maybe a data center solution. But with Cisco, you have all these solutions available for you to really have a complete portfolio and a complete solution to that customer. So think about this. Cisco is really a safe choice. Look into the Cisco design portfolio and start looking at all those solutions that you could offer to the small business segment. And I'm really sure and confident that with the backup of Cisco, with the backup of Comstor, you can be successful also into this segment. So by this, I would say, thanks a lot for listening to me. I hope everyone still stays safe and stay connected and make sure that you keep on using Cisco's great secure and collaboration tools so you can stay in touch with your families, friends, and colleagues. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Hi, Nico, I've got a few questions for you. So one of the things is, when will be Meraki, when will be fast track applied to Meraki on the global list price?
It should have, well, I don't have that answer. It's actually more a question for the Cisco folks. But to give you an idea, here in Europe, it was only available recently. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that that now in Q4 we are testing it out because it's system wise, and then in Q1 maybe also. So I'm sure it will happen in next fiscal year within Cisco. That starts actually in August. But most of the time, what I see with Cisco is that they at least want to test it out 1 or 2 quarters in some of the regions. So it started off in Europe. So I would say maybe Q2, Q3 next fiscal year.
Perfect. And then one more is, when will the Meraki products be available for free evaluation in South Africa?
Well, I know there's some, we have some discussion because we know that's also there, obviously, with the Meraki folks. So we're looking into bypassing. Here in Europe, obviously, you can have that, and that's a matter of shipping the products to the customers. So I can't give you an exact date, but we're working on with Cisco and with the Meraki teams to see how we can bring that experience also into your region. So I'm pretty sure that will also happen next fiscal year.
Perfect. And then just one comment from me. If anybody has got an opportunity where they want us and Cisco to support them to make Meraki or Cisco as a brand standard at larger end users, please reach out to us. We will actually work with you to do that. Okay. And that's it. I'm going to hand over to James now. Thank you, Nico, for everything. We really appreciate it. It was a great presentation.
Thank you, Louise.
All right, thanks, Louise. So now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Maria Bretti. So Maria is our Comstore Marketing Small Business Lead based out of the UK, but obviously working very closely with our field marketing team across Africa to basically come up with very innovative channel enablement and demand generation initiatives. So Maria?
Thanks for the introduction, James. Hi, everyone. So I joined Comstore around 12 months ago. Actually, it feels like a lifetime because I'm at an advantage where I get to work alongside Nico. And as you can see, his knowledge of Cisco is infinite. And I'm happy to be working alongside some great people at Cisco as well. So I'm just going to share some of the things that we're working on from a Comstore perspective, marketing-wise. Sorry, just bear with me. Sorry, guys, I'm having a few issues sharing for some reason. Okay, you should all see my slides now. So we've taken the Cisco design portfolio with everything that Cisco give us. We've taken it, understood it, and we've come up with our own positioning story, which Nico's just gone over with you. We've also taken the opportunity to create some marketing campaigns. We're working alongside Cisco on some fantastic programs. And we've also got a sneak peek at a tool that's coming for you, which I'm really excited to share, and I'll share that at the end. So as you're all aware from all of the presenters today, and I'm sure you were already aware previously, small business is a big focus area, and Ignacio touched on some of the points as to why that is. We keep hearing that small businesses are the quickest to recover. So there are some fantastic opportunities there. And what Cisco have done with the Cisco design portfolio by taking those products and services that are at that right price point and encompassing them under the Cisco designed word mark is a fantastic opportunity for everyone. So as Nico's already touched on, we've taken that Cisco designed message and we have come up with a Comstore story. If you take the time to understand this, you will be able to position the correct products aligned to your end customer needs. So we've just taken what Nico showed you previously, made it a little bit more visual, and tried to summarize it in an easy to understand animation, which I'm just going to show you now briefly. As Nico previously stated, these first 4 segments are aligned to the small business. That last segment does bring in some of the enterprise products, so I've excluded that from this presentation. Just for time's sake, I won't go through this entire video just because Nico has touched on each of these points. But as I said, if you do take the time to understand this, you'll be able to align the product suitable for your customer based on their affordability, based on their management requirements, based on their access requirements, and based on their security needs. So it's a really, really simple way of understanding this. It's very similar to what Ignacio showed in his presentation with the business journey. So please do take some time to understand. If you want some further details, reach out to someone locally. They will either put you in touch with Thomas or Nico, or they are fully aware of this whole positioning story. So moving on quickly. We know that not all of our partners are in a similar position. They might not have a marketing department. So what we are doing and what we will continue to do is come up with some campaigns that are pre-made for you. We'll take Cisco's intelligence, we'll encompass it into our own understanding, as we have done previously with the positioning story, and we will deliver you assets that are ready to go. So more recently, we've taken the Cisco Security Scale Play. We've adapted this into our own campaign, and we've taken an approach where we've identified customer pain points, we've aligned the solutions, and in turn, we're also highlighting the promotions that you can take advantage of. So I've just got another quick animation. This will just outline for you what's included in this Security Scale Play campaign in a box. We've come up with an email, which is ready for you to co-brand. It's in HTML format. You can import it into your email marketing program. We've got social assets. We've also got post suggestions. We've got an in-depth competitive guide, and we've got other partner to end customer assets that are ready to go. If you've not yet received an email about this campaign, please do reach out to either Nisa or your local Comstor account manager, and they'll be able to provide you with access to this. And just moving on swiftly again, a really, really good call out is the Radius Digital program. I know that Ignacio touched on programs slightly earlier, but just to give you a bit of information, if you aren't aware of Radius Digital, it is a partner marketing enablement program. The focus here is that you will work with us and also Cisco alongside an agency that they have appointed to pre-record a webinar. And the intention is just to try and get across your technical expertise. But obviously, you've got this excellent opportunity where this is all funded for you. The agency will promote it for you. They'll help you get your audience to come along and watch this. So it is really a great opportunity, and spaces are limited. So again, if this is of interest, please reach out and someone will be able to give you the details of how you could become involved. And just finally, last but not least, I've been given permission to share this with you guys. It's the first time we are telling partners about this. We are really, really super excited to be working with URUP, the guys who have actually provided this platform that we're on today. And we are creating a locked partner portal. So our intention is that we improve your experience with us. It also ensures that only you, our loyal partners, gain access to our assets, our marketing materials. And more importantly, we're also bringing in some aspects that you can find very similarly on the Cisco site, but with partner functionality. So things like the Small Business Product Selector tool. We'll introduce some simple questions where you can answer what your customers' needs are. We'll then have a select set of products that come out, and then an option to go to quote now. This is just going to be an absolutely amazing tool, and we can't wait to share it with you. So that will be coming September, October time. And that's me done.
Thanks a stack, Maria. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
The great initiatives that Comstor are actually doing to assist our partners in this very exciting landscape that they will find themselves in. So thanks again. And once again, guys, if any of you have any questions from a partner perspective, please reach out to your account manager, and of course, the account manager will liaise with the relevant marketing person. Thanks again, Maria. It was a great presentation. Short and sweet, but great fun.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, we're almost there, but now we're approaching one of the most important portions of this entire summit, which are the breakout sessions. There's 3 great sessions that you can choose one of. The first is the Comstor 5 Pillars, small business offerings, that's hosted by Nico Vermeulen and myself. The second covering the marketing aspects of your small business drive by Maria and Ebenezer. And lastly, but definitely not least, is SB Priorities, hosted by Mohammed and James. So please, everyone, please click on the breakout session of choice and enjoy the next 30 minutes with the subject matter experts. All the best.
Right, folks, welcome back, and hope you enjoyed the breakout sessions, and I hope you've enjoyed today. What I would like to really do is firstly start off by thanking all of you for taking the time to attend our Small Business Summit. A big thanks to Cisco, the partner of working with us in this. Thanks to all the people backstage who made it happen, Eva and the team. Obviously, brilliant to hear Mike this morning. Really an inspirational way to start off the day. And don't forget his 10 things you need to be ready for, as well as the 3 superpowers and how to use those. And we'll obviously share that deck out, as we said, to you all. And then a big thanks to Ignacio for taking us through the Cisco vision and where we're going with small business. Thanks to Nico then for explaining the Comstore side of things and what we're doing and how we can help you, and to Maria as well for taking us through the Comstore marketing plan. And then of course to Ricardo and Seydou, who ran the French and Portuguese sessions. I'm hoping that was valuable for some of you, and we'd appreciate your feedback as we try to do more of these types of seminars and events. And lastly, thanks to my co-facilitators, Donovan, James, Louise, and Vincent. Great to have you support me in this. And to all of you, huge thanks. At the very bottom of the auditorium is a click through if you'd like to get in touch and know some more. And we will probably send out a feedback form. We'd really appreciate your views on the format of the day, the timing, and I do apologize if we are over time on the original agenda, but how things went, and hopefully the technology and your experience overall. So take care, stay safe, stay connected, and thank you once again for spending the time with us. Look forward to actually seeing you in person soon. Bye.